If you're thinking of grabbing the Corsair M65 RGB Ultra, stick around because I'm about to uncover the real truth behind this gaming mouse, what you didn't expect, and what might make you think twice. This mouse promises cutting-edge tech like a blazing fast 26,000 dpi sensor and an ultra-durable aluminum frame. But here's what surprised me. It's not all smooth sailing. While many gamers rave about its precision and design, I found some issues that might just ruin your gaming experience. So, if you want to know whether this high-end mouse lives up to the hype, or if it's just overpriced hype, watch closely. Now, before you rush to buy this mouse, ask yourself, do you really need those crazy 26,000 dpi settings or an 8,000 Hz polling rate? Because that's only the start of this mouse's story. And by the end, you'll get the full picture plus a few things you didn't expect about its build quality, software, and ergonomics. Whether you're a competitive FPS player or just someone who wants a reliable gaming mouse that won't cost you an arm and a half, this review is for you. Stick with me for the lowdown. Let's dive deep and unpack the Corsair M65 RGB Ultra. First off, Corsair boasts an iconic anodized aluminum frame here, promising durability and that familiar M65 shape that's been a long-time favorite for many gamers. And yes, the mouse feels premium with a solid weight and build quality that screams built to last. However, thicker frames aren't for everyone. Some users with smaller hands might find this mouse a bit bulky and less comfortable for extended use. Imagine gripping a mouse that feels like holding a small brick. Sure, it's tough, but can you win the game while cramping your hand? What makes this mouse stand out on paper is the Corsair Marksman 26,000 dpi optical sensor. That's a mouthful, but it translates to jaw-dropping precision and responsiveness. Officially, it tracks movements up to 650 inches per second, which means it can keep up with lightning-fast flicks and turns in any shooter game you throw at it. The M65 RGB Ultra also features optical switches for left and right clicks, which Corsair claims are hyperfast and durable, rated to withstand years of hardcore gaming. But here's where the twist comes in. While the sensor is ultra-sensitive, many users report that the mouse feels jittery or inconsistent at lower DPI settings, which is where most players actually game, rather than cranking it to max. Speaking of speed, this mouse is packed with Corsair Axon hyperprocessing technology. This lets it register and transmit inputs up to 8 times faster than conventional mice, thanks to its insane 8,000 Hz polling rate. That basically means your clicks and movements get to the game almost instantly. Sounds perfect in theory, right? Well, the problem is, not all games or PCs can handle that speed, so sometimes you get weird input lag or stuttering, not what you want from a device that's supposed to give you a competitive edge. Ever tried sprinting on ice? Yeah, it's kind of like that. Now, I told you there's more to this mouse than meets the eye. Another tech feature that caught my attention is the sensor fusion control, combining a 6-axis gyro and accelerometer. This tech lets the mouse detect tilt and movement beyond just the usual X and Y axes, making for ultra-low liftoff distance and more precise repositioning. It's a cool idea, especially if you game with aggressive lifting and repositioning. But some users find this feature a bit gimmicky, claiming that the gyro actually throws off their aim more than helps, especially in fast-paced games where every millisecond counts. So the fancy sensors might be a hit or miss depending on your playstyle. At about $79, this mouse seats right in the mid to high price range of gaming mice, promising premium features but facing some stiff competition. It's sitting on Amazon with a decent 4.2 out of 5 stars, which isn't terrible, but it's also not glowing. And if you're wondering about RGB, yes, it's got customizable lighting zones, but let's be honest. Unless you're building a nightclub-themed gaming rig, it doesn't really add much to your performance. Now, because I promised some humor, here's one for you. Why did the gamer bring a mouse to the party? Because he heard it was a click fest. Okay, I'll try better on the next one. Also, don't be scared if the mouse feels a little heavy. It's not trying to lift weights, it's just working out its durability. Let me break down the pros and cons quickly for clarity. On the plus side, you get a rock-solid aluminum build, a hyper-accurate and fast sensor, optical switches rated for longevity, and innovative gyro controls. On the downside, some users feel it's too heavy or bulky. The ultra-high DPI isn't very practical, input inconsistencies at lower DPI levels, and sometimes the polling rate can cause stuttering. Plus, the software, to configure all these modes and lighting, can be a bit clunky and unintuitive for those not used to Corsair's ICUE ecosystem. Wondering if the M65 RGB Ultra is right for you? If you're a competitive gamer who demands extreme precision and doesn't mind a heavier mouse, and you enjoy tinkering with settings to squeeze every drop of performance, you might appreciate this mouse. But if you prefer something lightweight, straightforward, and consistent without fancy tech that might not always work flawlessly, there are better options.